Alrighty, welcome back to the J Center podcast. Owen Hill and Jesse Burrell back with you here today. And Jesse, my mom always told me ever since I was young that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'm going to turn over the show to you and enjoy this solo Jesse Burrell episode, everybody, because I do not have a single nice thing to say about the Toronto Blue Jays after the last week of baseball.
Yeah, congratulations to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for hitting his first home run and first extra base hit of the season. And shout out to Brendon Valenzuela for his first major league hit. And I think that's it. I think we're done here.
Yeah, that's it. I literally cannot name one other thing. Austin Voth looked very good today for the Blue Jays. So there's that, I guess.
Yeah. You know we're in trouble when it's 9 games into the season and the Blue Jays just got swept by the Chicago White Sox. When one of our top 3 highlights is Austin Voth, who I don't know how many people were talking about him in the preseason. Not many of us. And yikes for the Toronto Blue Jays that this is where we are just simply 9 games into the season.
Yeah, we weren't even talking about Joe Mantiply or Austin Voth having a serious shots to make the team. And here they are trying to help the Jays keep their head above water and failing because the Jays just got swept by the Chicago White Sox of all teams. Legitimately, if you had to drop your top 3 worst teams heading into the season, the Chicago White Sox would have been on that list, almost 100%, right?
Yeah, and we talked about how important it is to get off to such a good start to the season when you're facing the Athletics, you are facing the Rockies, you are facing the White Sox. We talked about how it was very important for the Blue Jays to start off well. 4-5 after those, and especially losing now 4 of our last 5 to Colorado and the White Sox is not where you want to be. I will say, though, Owen, as bad as things feel right now, the sky is not falling. Baseball is a long season. I know it feels that way right now. I've gotten text messages. I've gotten calls from people who I hang around with regularly are saying, just start the lockout already. Just cancel the season. This doesn't matter anymore. But I will say things will get better from here. I can't quite guarantee it, but if I could guarantee it, I would that it will get better.
Yeah, well, at least the Jays have a very good get right series coming up against I think it's the Los Angeles Dodgers that are coming into town with their entire all-star lineup. Yeah, have you heard of that team? Back-to-back World Series champions. Oh my God. I think if you're gonna look at this a little bit positively, at least you're not running into a buzzsaw when you're hot. You're running into, if you're gonna play the Dodgers, you may as well play them when you're down and not having a chance anyways, and not expecting for anything to come of it, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to take the optimistic view here. Maybe the Blue Jays are just one of those teams that just play down to the bad teams, and they raise their game when they're coming up with the good teams. I don't know, Owen. I'm grasping at straws, but we're going to look for something here. And who knows? Baseball's stupid. Dumb stuff happens all the time. Maybe the Blue Jays will just flick a switch and we'll turn it around. Maybe we'll tee up Yamamoto for 5 runs or something, and the offense will get going. I know it's hard to believe after watching what this offense did against the White Sox and White Sox pitching this weekend, but hey, there is a chance.
Yeah, White Sox pitching, probably the worst pitching staff in baseball projected, or at least one of them. Just really not many redeemable qualities for that team. And you look at the game today, on Sunday, it's Davis Martin, Brian Hudson, Jordan Leisure, and Chris Murphy combining to shut the Blue Jays out. Not just stifle the offense, but completely shut them out. And honestly, just some of the worst baseball I ever wanted to watch. If I wanted to watch AAA baseball, I could have just bought MILB TV or whatever it is. You can pay for that kind of stuff. I'm paying a big league price to watch the Blue Jays, and we're getting the Buffalo Bisons every day. And I get it's injuries, and that's how it happens, man. That is what it is. You can't control that, but I really just was not expecting to see Joe Mantiply and Austin Voth and Brandon Valenzuela at this point in the season.
Yeah, so there are a lot of injuries that have been hampering the Blue Jays' performance right now, and we will touch on those injuries at some point in this episode too. But I want to talk a little bit about that bullpen here, because 9 games in, we're already talking about these players. And when you think back to the World Series run last year, the big kind of downfall for the Toronto Blue Jays was the bullpen. We were relying on a lot of starting pitchers. Chris Bassett became a bullpen ace for us in the postseason there. We did add Tyler Rogers, which, okay, yes, that was nice, but we didn't really add much else to our bullpen this offseason. And now you're starting to see the flaws and the cracks very, very early on in the season. Spencer Miles, dude, has quickly become like our fourth best reliever out of the pen now, fifth best reliever, and that's can't happen for a team that has playoff aspirations and World Series aspirations.
Well, I see where you're trying to go here, but at the same time, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to be like, it doesn't even matter how good your bullpen is if you can't even get to your 5 best relievers. Like you brought in Tyler Rogers, but you can't even use him because you're losing in every game by the time the 7th inning comes around. The offense like has no chance to score a run. Same thing with Jeff Hoffman, who's like looked fine, but then the defense is coughing up runs behind him, or I guess in this case in front of him, Tyler Heineman. It's just this. It's the same story. Well, it's not even the same story. It's a completely new season, but it's been the same story all week. And like, yeah, there's rumors that it's a flu thing, and like there's a sickness going around the clubhouse. And I get a lot of guys are hurt, but like I feel like the bullpen for the shape it's in has actually been like fairly solid because, like I said, like Mantiply and Voth and like even like Laz Estrada yesterday going 4 innings hitless, not even scoreless, just hitless. Like these guys are coming in and they're put in impossible situations. Like you want to talk Spencer Miles, that's a guy that has no business being on a major league roster. And all he's done so far is pitched two scoreless today. Like looked good, man. Like Spencer Miles, like there's a lot there. These are guys that like if you looked at the Toronto Blue Jays like roster resource in February or even like at the end of March, none of these guys are on the team. And they're being asked to get big outs, and they're getting them. And then the offense is just coughing away baseball games to the Chicago White Sox. You only give up 3 runs to the White Sox. You better win that game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big issue here is the offense. We will touch on the offense. I wanted to make one more like note about the bullpen because I agree with pretty much everything you said there. It's not really the bullpen's fault. Brendon Little was really the only one, and we sent him down this series. We can touch on that too. But it's the bullpen as a whole actually hasn't been that bad. Oh, and if you just look at some of their stats too, like ERA on the season is 5.17 out of relievers. That's 24th in baseball coming into the game today. I'm sure that number went down after today, but their xFIP was second best in baseball at 291. So like, are they getting unlucky? I guess maybe this is just how FIP really likes Brendon Little's stuff, even though he can't locate it or shit. Like I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things too here. But I do think the bullpen as itself really hasn't been the downfall for this Toronto Blue Jays team. The issue, Owen, is they've lost their identity. Like that's the worst thing here. The whole building together as a team, the whole move the baton over, let the next guy do it, swing at the pitches you know you can swing at. Like that has been their whole identity that got them through the postseason run, and they've lost it. They don't have it so far this year, and that is a very concerning thing if that continues going forward.
Yeah, so can you promise me we're going to go back to this Brendon Little bullpen conversation if you want to do this
absolutely
talk here? Okay, so we're going to do the Brendon Little thing in a minute. He did get DFA'd, or not DFA'd, sorry, optioned to Buffalo. So we'll get to that, but I think you're right. I think the really frustrating and disappointing part about this season so far is the absolute lack of fight from the offense, and it starts, for me, at the top of the lineup with George Springer, who's just been absolutely pathetic to start this season, just unplayable basically. I sent you a message before we hopped on here and I took a screenshot. George Springer's popping up 27.3% of the time, and obviously that's not sustainable. That's not something that's going to stick around, right? Like he's not going to do that for a season. But if you think about it, like, oh god, he better not. But like if you actually try and wrap your mind around what that means, like a quarter of the time George Springer's at the plate, it's ending up in a pop-up. Like, how is that possible? Just some of the worst at-bats I've ever seen from George Springer. And he's getting a lot of at-bats with guys on base and with the chance to score some runs and start innings and do some damage. And, like, he hit 2 homers early on. But have you seen anything positive from him, like, the last week?
Not really, man. That pop-up rate too is 3rd highest in baseball coming into the season. Like only 2 other hitters have popped up more often than George Springer has. And yeah, those 2 home runs he hit early were nice. Even the base hits he's getting, dude, are like little soft line drives that go in between the shortstop and the third baseman. He had 2 of them in this series. I remember it's like, he's not driving the ball at all. I don't think he has a double yet on the season. Maybe he had one like in the Oakland's or in the Athletic series, maybe, but it's been a while since he's had one. And I don't feel the fear or the, like, I know good things are going to happen when George Springer is at the plate that I had throughout all of last season. Like that's not there anymore. And that's a problem.
He looks like 2024 George Springer, and it's 9 games. Like it's not over.
Awful.
But really bad. like he's got a 173 expected batting average. So if you're exactly right to think like he looks like he's not doing anything at the plate because he's not hitting anything hard. He's got a 13.5% line drive rate, which is like literally half of what it was in 2025. So like I'm seeing an approach thing. The bat speed's still there, so I'm not like pronouncing him dead because like he gained at least 2-3 miles an hour of bat speed between 24 and 25, and he's been able to maintain it so far in 2026. So like I don't think it's the end for George Springer, but I think the approach just has to get much better.
Yeah, 30% K rate on the young season too, which would be the highest he's ever had since his rookie season, which is not something you want to see. I'm looking at the swinging strike rate, though. It seems to be right on par here. I think he's swinging more at pitches that aren't his hittable pitches, which going back to what I've said about the Blue Jays losing their identity, the Blue Jays were built on taking the pitches they can't do damage with and attacking the ones they can. George Springer, and it's not just George Springer, but he is one of them that is doing it exclusively, swinging too much at pitchers' pitches, which could explain the strikeouts, which could explain the pop-ups, and that needs to change for the Blue Jays to get back to their winning ways.
All right, you want to talk about strikeouts? Boy, do I have the conversation for you because you're going to really enjoy what I have to say about Kazuma Okamoto. Because coming into today's game, he's running a 43% K rate. Add two more strikeouts today. Like, dude's going to be damn near 50% strikeout rate. Like, that is just Jesse. That's like I don't even have an adjective for that, like other than like disgusting, like unwatchable. He's unplayable at the moment. And he's lucky he's like hit the ball hard, and when he's putting the ball in play, like it's gone well. But like he's got a 429 BABIP, dude. Like this is like the least sustainable success I've ever seen out of a hitter. Like this is going to be like not just bad, awful if he does not sort this out.
Yeah, 9 games into his MLB career, for what it's worth, there is going to be a bit of a waiting game with Kazuma Okamoto. We have seen some good. You know, he has got a couple home runs. He hit some velocity. I have some thoughts about the defense I can bring up some other time. But yeah, the strikeouts have been an issue. Oh, and I just come up and I look at the top 10 hitters here in strikeout percentage on the year. And there are some names on this list that are some very, very good hitters. There's Nick Kurtz is on this list. Cal Rowley's on this list. Brent Rooker's on this list. But the thing is that they do that Kazuma Okamoto do is they might also hit 40 home runs. I don't think Kazuma Okamoto is going to be a 40 home run bomb. So 40 home run hitter. So you need to see that strikeout rate come down or the power just massively increase. And I don't think the power is going to massively increase for Kazuma Okamoto. So this is something that needs to get better going forward.
Yeah, dude is whiffing 40% of the time. Like honestly, I haven't like he's hit the ball hard, and then like that's part of why he's got that BABIP up so high, and like it's okay, but at the same time, it's just not sustainable, and he's actually becoming unplayable. And I get like yes, 9 games into the season, like we can relax, but if you lose 4 or 5 of 6 to the Rockies and White Sox consecutively and lose 4 in a row, like dude, like I think we can start to have some conversations about the roster. Like I think we're allowed to do that, and I'm not making any declarations. I'm not even dropping takes. I'm just spitting out facts. And that's what the facts are right now. And let me tell you, they are freaking terrible. They're disgusting.
Yeah, and the thing is, we shouldn't have to be having this conversation on Kazuma Okamoto because he was supposed to hit down in the bottom of the order. It should have been the rest of the players coming up. But it really stands out because like the misses look just awful. He not only did he have that 4 strikeout game early in the series, in today's game too, he worked a count where he was up 3-0 leading off the inning. Took a borderline pitch, 3-0, okay, 3-1, but then he swings at a pitch off in his hands and then goes down looking on the next pitch right there. So bad at bat there too. And it's probably magnified as well that he's come up with the bases loaded 4 times now, struck out in 3 of those at-bats and doesn't have a hit in his 4 at-bats with the bases loaded, which is also not good for a Blue Jays team who really needs to get some runs across. It will get better for Kazuma Okamoto, but for the Blue Jays' sake, they kind of need it to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you want to talk runners in scoring position? Jays this year
on a 619.
Well, yeah. 6 you don't want to hear what I'm about to say then, because 619 OPS for the Jays this season with wrist. That's the 27th best mark in baseball. It's too early to do this, but you're missing a guy this year. You might be familiar with Bo Bichette. Last year, he was the 3rd best hitter according to OPS with runners in scoring position. He had a 1,053 OPS. And yeah, like is clutch like a repeatable skill? I don't know. But all I know is that Bo Bichette had his best at-bats when there was guys on base and the bases are loaded and whatnot, and you needed a big hit. That's when Bo Bichette would get a hit. And I can't lie, I'm kind of missing that. I wish somebody on the Blue Jays would kind of take that mentality to the plate and, you know what, deal with it. And maybe we can get those runners in scoring position stats back up.
Yeah, they need to 1 for 12 too with the bases loaded as well, which is it's boy, that is tough. And I think the one hit was just a little single as well. So
they have more
not
walks
great
with the bases loaded than hits.
Yeah, that's yikes. That's not ideal.
Yeah. No, it's not ideal. It's ugly. Like who like I guess we can do Addison Barger. Like there's not even much to say other than he's been terrible. He's got one hit. He's also chasing 42% of the time. This is a guy that you needed to be good. You needed him to be much better this season if you wanted to maintain. Like we just talked about, like you lost Bo Bichette, which is okay, but like with that comes bigger roles for other guys, and Addison Barger is one of those guys. And he's been nothing short of awful. Like, I don't know. Are you seeing anything with him?
No, a lot of chases up in the zone specifically for Addison Barger. Yeah. I feel like he's waiting for that big moment. He almost had it in this series. I think he had a fly ball that went to the warning track that just about went up. Ended up being his first double on the season, but still, like, kind of for him, you kind of feel like you need one to get through. You need him to really rework his approach. I think he's getting in his head a little bit too, waiting for that first one to clear the fence, whatever. I think once we finally see that happen, then we're going to start to see some more Addison Barger, but he's pressing. I think John Schneider said that he's speeding up at the plate. He's going a little too fast. They gave him a few days off there, sat him on the bench. Don't think I like that either for Addison Barger. Like, this is a guy who can carry you for weeks. We've seen it when he gets hot. Give the guy the opportunity to try to get hot, even though it's not working right now.
Yeah, speaking of pressing, like Daulton Varsho, like he's running a career best strikeout and walk rate so far. Obviously, 9 games into the season. Like these things take a long time to normalize, but that's what he's running. He's been actually, the approach has been better, except for the fact that he's like refused to hit the ball hard and like has decided to become a slap hitter. Like he's running like an 80-mile-an-hour hard hit. Or average exit velo, 80-mile-an-hour average exit velocity for Daulton Varsho. This is a guy that, like, your job is to slug, dude. Like, you should be trying to hit doubles and homers. Like, and they're talking on the broadcast about his new approach and, oh, good line drive up the middle, Daulton. No, dude, like, drive a gap and, like, see yourself on second base, or, like, put one over the right fielder's head and, like, trot the bases. Like, that's your job here. Like, Daulton, man, like, it's time for a little bit of juice.
I agree. 4.8% barrel rate is ugly. When it was up upwards of 15% last year, I don't know if it's a swinging at bad pitches things. When he swings at pitches out of the zone, he's hitting them a lot more, which is not what I want to see. And there have been some swing changes. I want to confirm that before I just randomly say it, but I feel like he's kind of slowed his swing down a little bit. I've seen it a little bit with Jesus Sanchez too, where maybe the Blue Jays are trying to push a little too far into this contact heavy approach, and it's really not working out for them. It's why you're seeing a team who, the hits are still there, but all of the hits have been singles. I think we're bottom 5 in baseball in extra base hits, or at least doubles and triples this season. And it's been a problem. I think in the one game, they had 11 singles? Like, that's great and all, but you really need to have that extra base thump. And Daulton Varsho is one of those guys that was kind of meant to do this, and he's not doing it so far this season. And I wonder if that's coming from the coaching staff, because it seems to be happening to a lot of Blue Jays players all at once here.
Yeah, well, Daulton Varsho's bat speed, I can tell you, I just looked, coming into today's game, down 2 miles an hour compared to last season.
Like, I thought so. And that's what it looked like from watching it on TV.
That's a huge drop off. Like that's going from like mostly fast swings to almost no fast swings. And like that is just a massive change. So like, hey, maybe he's hurt and he's trying to tough it out because he knows they already have a million injuries. And like this kind of stuff, I guess, like does happen when you play as deep into the season as the Jays did. Like these guys didn't get full off seasons. I get it. Yep. At the same time, like as many built-in excuses as there are for this team, I have a hard time giving them when you're playing, again, the Colorado Rockies and Chicago White Sox and like getting thoroughly beat by those two teams.
Yeah, and I think this is why these slow performances from the offensive players feel worse, is because these are the guys they're supposed to hit. This is how things are supposed to go. You know, they really are supposed to do that. And that's why this feels worse than the 5-4 start we were last year after this time. I think we actually were 5-5 after. Yeah. So we're pretty much on par with how we were last year, but it feels way worse knowing the quality of the opponents and knowing too that the Yankees are still just winning games and it feels like we're falling behind. Oh, and our playoff odds, I think, have dropped from like 65%. We're right around the 50-50 mark now coming into this. So a 15% drop in playoff odds 9 games into the season. It's not something you want to see.
No, man, that's really disappointing. Like I don't know. I'm not a big subscriber to like the playoff odds like on Fangraphs. I don't know. Like because you go in and like the Dodgers slip all over themselves in Toronto and like you win 2 or 3 of those and all of a sudden they're back up to where they should be and like one hot week instead of a cold week like this, they're fine. Like they get a few guys healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like you're right. Like this is frankly just like the good saying, like the saying always goes that I like is that you can't win a division in April, but you can lose it. And the Jays are doing what they can to lose it. They're very, very, very lucky that the Red Sox, Orioles, and Rays have also gotten off to pretty horrendous starts. Even the Seattle Mariners off to a pretty slow start. So like those were probably 3 of the 4 teams that you're going to be looking at the top of the American League coming into like September and October, and those are the teams going to be in the playoff mix, and they're off to slow starts as well. Of course, you mentioned it, the Yankees not off to a slow start, and that's what you hate to see. You just don't want this division race to be like a non-factor by the time we get to June and July.
Yeah, they're 3.5 games back as of now, and the Yankees are currently leading in the bottom of the 7th in their game at the time of this recording. So, that could be 4 games by the end of today, which means the Blue Jays, hey, we're going to have work to do. But I mean, hey, if you want to build that underdog story, that narrative story, then there you go, John Schneider and company. You've got it. Get out there and get it done. Do you have any more thoughts on the offense here, Owen? There's a few more players maybe we could touch on before we turn things back to Brendon Little.
I don't actually have much more. I do want to say just Nathan Lucas, like I just despise the way you play baseball right now. It's so bad. And I don't mean for a personal call out like that. Obviously, it's nothing personal against Nathan Lucas himself, but just like if you're going to be hitting in the 2 spot in front of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like you're allowed to walk if the other team's not going to throw the ball in the zone. But he's just absolutely refusing to take pitches. And it's not just like it genuinely looks like he's decided that he's swinging before the pitch is on his way. Like he's chasing out of the zone, like upwards of 40%, I think. Oh no, sorry. Close to 50%, 48.5%. Like, dude, Nathan Lucas, like keep the bat on your shoulder one time.
Goes back to that selective aggression thing I was talking about earlier this episode, where swing at the pitches you can do damage with, takes the ones you can't. The only other notes I had on the offense is Jesus Sanchez was seeing a lot of fastballs up in the zone, kind of like Barger was earlier, swinging through a lot of them as well. His bat speed's down as well too, which is very interesting to see from a guy who has a lot of dramatic exit velocities. So there is that too. I did want to touch on Vlad here, who we mentioned off the top, did hit his first home run of the season. Vlad is the only player on this team right now I feel like, okay, is still a threat at the plate. You're seeing him get animated at the plate, yelling the big no when a ball goes through the zone or whatever. And in game 2, he struck out on the first at bat on a slider. But he slammed his bat. You knew he was getting locked in. The second pitch, he took an Anthony K curveball, just missed it, just to the warning track. The third at bat made the adjustment. Bam, what? It wasn't 500 feet, but it might as well have been for how hard that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had hit that ball. So he is starting to get locked in. And if you're looking for a positive, I like that. And then Andres Jimenez, huge home run in this series, even though he was surrounded by a bunch of like poor performances after that. So that's what I had from the offensive side there. Any thoughts on those?
Yeah. Well, first of all, like this is part of the reason why it's not a meltdown. And I also want to like make sure like anybody listening like knows that me and you both remember that the Jays were 27 and 28 at the end of May last year. Mm-hmm. Like they were 8 games back in the Yankees before they went on their run. Like this season is going to be far from over, even if this little stretch they're on gets worse. Okay. So like it's not over. It's a frustrating moment that we're having after the Jays get swept and lose 5 of 6 and whatnot. But anyways, the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stuff, he makes me feel like it's going to be okay. Like, I think if you're looking for one thing to hang your hat on as a Toronto Blue Jays fan, it's the fact that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to be here. And even if you're not optimistic about this team or next year's team or the year after that team, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be here through it all. He signed the big extension. Like, we're going to be okay. Vlad's got us. Like, we're going to be all right. And the Andres Jimenez thing, like, I wish I bookmarked it, but I saw something where, like, through his first 8 games of every season, he's got, like, 900 OPSs every single season. Like he just
Love
owns
it.
the start of the season. He's one of those guys that just shows up to the regular season at a camp and is ready to go. Kind of like the Tyler O'Neill on opening day home run thing. Like Andres Gimenez, book him for a good start every year. Here's to hoping he can maintain it a little bit, because I actually have been impressed with what I saw from him this year so far.
He's your Blue Jays leader in WAR through 9 games in the season. So there's that. That is exciting, at least on the offensive side of the ball. So that is very good. And to give Blue Jays fans listening one form of saving grace here, the Blue Jays are 4-5, obviously with a -8 run differential. Through 9 games last season, the Milwaukee Brewers were also 4-5 and had a -28 run differential. They won 98 games last year. So there is still hope that things can turn around, and don't give up on the season here yet.
Yeah, no, we'll be okay. The Dodgers got swept by the Angels twice last year, I believe. So
yeah, and the Rockies. I think the Rockies got him at one point last year as well.
really?
Could be wrong about that.
That's awesome. So yeah, Dodgers lost the series to the Rockies in 2025 and then won the World Series. So you know what the Jays are doing in 2026. Book it, mark it. It's confirmed. Play in the parade. Do you want to continue with some positives and talk about Brendon Little's flight to Buffalo?
Yeah, I hope it was good. I heard travel through the Northeast this time of year is always great. A nice Easter weekend trip. You know, Chicago, too windy, man. You don't want to be there. Go out and join those boys in Buffalo. Should be a lot of fun.
Nothing but the best for Brendon Little, because like, man, like they were booking him a ticket quickly, even though fuel prices are so expensive these days. So like you really just love to see an organization treating a guy like that. One of their guys with that first class, like that really showing them they appreciate him.
We say this all very much tongue-in-cheek, but it was absolutely time for Brendon Little to get the demotion. John Schneider said post-game about, if you're not performing right now, we're going to find somebody who is. I'm paraphrasing that quote, but essentially that's what it was. And Brendon Little simply has not done it. We had talked a few episodes back. It's like, yeah, but the stuff is so good. That curveball has like one of the best swinging strike rates in all of baseball. And like he was throwing 98 from the left-hand side. Like you got to keep that guy, but when he's allowing these home runs to left-handed hitters, which is something you mentioned after the A's series, like he's not even getting the lefties out, and then 2 monster bombs. And I don't know if you check the pitch charts on the home runs to Montgomery and to Murakami, dead center for both of them, back-to-back batters. So the command is so bad that even now when he throws it in the zone, he's getting hit. He's lost right now, dude. And I think a trip to Buffalo is absolutely the right thing, and just hope he can find it when it's down there, because there is still that shimmer that Brendon Little can be a shutdown reliever, even though it's hard to believe.
All right, so I think Brendon Little is going to be back, and he will get big outs for this team at some point. Like he just has to. He's too big a part of this team, and like just frankly, like Joe Mantiply, like as good as he was today, and he effectively shut down the White Sox for a couple innings. Like that 87-mile-an-hour fastball from the left side is just not going to play for the rest of the season. So, like, we're going to need Brendon Little to come back and, like, be himself. At the same time, like, you're absolutely right. Like, there was literally no other option than doing what they did and sending him down. Like, he's throwing meatballs. Like, he can either throw it, like, 58 feet and bounce it, or he can throw it middle. And there's no in between. And when you're a pitcher and, like, you can either throw, like center cut fastballs or like can't find the zone at all, that's when we get into trouble. And it looks like everyone knows what's coming when they're facing him. He's not even fooling guys really anymore. So yeah, we talked about, I wish I still had it. Oh, I still have it up. Perfect. Okay, so Blue Jays relievers ERA. Jeff Hoffman, he's got a 4 2/3 innings pitch. He's got a 1.93. Braden Fisher's perfect in 6 1/3 innings. Louis Varland is perfect in 4 1/3 innings. Tommy Nance even has a 2.25 in 4 innings. Tyler Rogers was perfect over 5 innings. Laz Estrada, we mentioned, 4 hitless, obviously no earned runs. Spencer Miles coming into today, 2 2/3 innings, had a 10.13 ERA. That's going to come down because he had 2 more good innings in today's game. Okay, who's the last guy that I haven't named there? It's Brendon Little.
Tyler Heineman.
Tyler Heineman. We're not talking about him. Brendon Little, 24.55 ERA. So, like, literally the one guy not pulling his weight in the bullpen, Brendon Little, right?
Yeah, what was the stat I had saw earlier is that Blue Jays relievers, I don't have the numbers perfect, so forgive me, but this is the gist of it. It was like they had been on the mound, or they had given up 17 runs on the season, and Brendon Little was on the mound for like 11 of them. Yeah, so that's just, I don't have those numbers perfect, but it's in that ballpark. And that's just, yikes.
Yeah, so like I don't want to kick a guy when he's down. As I said, the Blue Jays. I know people hate it, and I'm not even a Brendon Little hater, to be honest. I'm just like a hater of anybody that's just sabotaging the Blue Jays, and that's honestly what it looked like he was doing. Like, he was just so bad, and the Jays are gonna need him. So here's to hoping he can get right, and like hopefully he gets his head right, because he like the body language, and like I'm not a huge believer in body language, but I think you can tell when a guy's locked in, and just as well you can tell when a guy is not locked in. And like Brendon Little looks like he's pitching scared, and he's got to
Yeah.
be able to get over that. He's got to be able to
Yeah,
get
he's
over
lost. He's
that.
lost. Like whatever it is, he's lost. I think this might even be a bigger than just baseball thing. Like he needs to figure this out too. And I look at this, if you're one of these lefties in the minor leagues right now, like if you're Ricky Tiedemann, who's working your way back right now, if you are Adam Macko, who's still looking for your big league debut, hell, if you're one of these lefties that's not even on the 40-man roster right now, like if you're Michael Plasmeyer right now, or you're Josh Fleming, like you are sitting there thinking like, I got a chance at that big league paycheck if I just put together a good stretch of runs here, because the Blue Jays are going to want another lefty, and a lot of pressure now on Mason Fluharty to be that number one left-hander out of the bullpen here.
Yeah. Okay. So talking lefties, did you have the Blue Jays signing Patrick Corbin on your bingo card this year or no?
That move actually surprised me. There were reports, like Ben Nicholson-Smith reported on Blue Jays Central pregame, that the Blue Jays were in like casual conversations with some of the free agents out there, but nothing seemed close as of yet. So I thought that was a Lucas Giolito. I thought maybe they were thinking of Charlie Morton. Did not for a second think Patrick Corbin, but apparently he's been working out. He made his debut for the Dunedin Blue Jays. I think he struck out 9, which you should if you are facing the low A ball right now and you're a major league pitcher. So good on him. But yeah, kind of a surprise the Blue Jays went that route, especially for another starter, if you will. So we'll see what happens when he's ready to go and get up here. But it's another surprising name onto this list.
Yeah, Blue Jays bring in the Chad innings eater, like 900 innings since like 2017 or something like that. Like all this guy does is just pitch and pitch poorly. Like he's got like a 5 something, I think 5.5 ERA like across those 900 innings. Just a massive sample size of just being like reliable to do nothing but go out there and just like be just good enough to stay in the game, but not good enough to like actually stop the other team from doing anything. So, like, that's the state of the pitching staff and starting rotation. Like you said, you were surprised they brought in a starting pitcher. I'm not. Like, 4 of their 8 starting pitchers have gone down. Like we talked about Cody Ponce last time we were on this podcast, and like we might not see him again this season. We're still waiting for word. Like that'll be probably tomorrow or Tuesday we get word on if he needs surgery or not and what the timeline looks like. Like we're not really sure if we're going to see Shane Bieber anytime soon. We're pretty confident we will see Yesavage and Berríos, but like the Jays had a bullpen day yesterday, and Eric Lauer can barely pitch because he's got the flu and he's going only 2 innings. Like, dude, like a team that we were like, they have too many starting pitchers. How are they going to fit these guys? Like, they only have 3 now, and I guess Patrick Corbin gives them 4. So I guess that's where we are. Like, I didn't think we were getting our Richard Urania, Spencer Turnbull in early April, but here we are.
Yeah, and I can see why the Blue Jays made that move, which is for the exact reasons that you were getting at there. To me, I was looking at this like, well, Trey Yesavage seems to be the closest of that injured group that is coming up. He's been throwing in backfields and at the player development complex already. And with the way the Blue Jays kind of line up and their schedule goes with the off days, the Blue Jays don't really need a quote unquote 5th starter until the 18th, I believe, against the Diamondbacks. And that just so happens to line up with the days that Trey Yesavage is currently throwing down in the minor league. So I thought that was the date they were kind of circling for Trey Yesavage, so they can kind of run with the Scherzer, Gausman, Cease, Lauer group of 4 until that time comes up. But I guess they're giving themselves some extra insurance in case Trey Yesavage needs a bit of extra time or whatnot. And maybe too, worst case scenario, he becomes what Eric Lauer was probably going to be, which is that long man out of the bullpen that can give you some length.
Yeah, and hopefully that's what he is. Like, I actually don't think he has nothing to offer. Like I said, like all he's gonna do is just eat innings. So like this is a team that clearly needs innings eaten. Like poor Laz Estrada, but like he came in and did his job yesterday and then got optioned, and because they needed like literally just fresh meat to throw out there today. And like I guess Austin Voth is that, and like he's getting DFA'd probably by the time you're hearing this. Like I hate to say it for Austin Voth and his family, but like the Jays are literally just like a meat grinder of arms right now. And frankly, just a meat grinder of players. Like we didn't even talk about Alejandro Kirk going down yet. Like
which we should.
Which, yeah, that's the next thing we have to get to here. But like, just genuinely, like the Jays are turning into the Buffalo Bisons, like one piece at a time. Like it's the ship of Theseus debate. Like if you replace the players one by one on the team, is it still the Toronto Blue Jays? Like, and genuinely, they're not playing like the Toronto Blue Jays.
No, shout out Austin Voth. When the Blue Jays do win a World Series this year, you'll get a World Series ring, and thank you for your contributions for what you've done here. Who knows? Maybe he might stick around. There might be another injury. Maybe he becomes one of these happy stories that we look back at the end of the year, but I don't think so, and I think we'll be okay. Let's talk Alejandro Kirk here, because we got to touch on that.
Okay, so is there a more important player to the roster, to the Toronto Blue Jays, than Alejandro Kirk?
I'd argue Vlad 1, but Kirk's probably 2.
Well, I would think it's Kirk 1, because I think what you're losing between Heineman and Kirk, like this, like you subtract what or add what, or I guess I don't know how. I'm not a good math guy, but I think the difference between Kirk and Heineman is much larger than Vlad and the next option to play first base, because I guess like Okamoto slides over and like Davis Schneider plays in the infield, or Barger goes to third, and then you get like Jesus Sanchez every day. Like, I don't know. I think the Jays are actually better suited, like the way they're built, to handle a Vlad injury than they are a Kirk injury. And like you and I are both Brandon Valenzuela guys. We think he's got something to offer at some point. Obviously picked up his first big league hit today. Looked good. Like saw a bad pitch up in the zone and hit it hard. At the same time, like I think you and I kind of both understand that there's a large gap between Alejandro Kirk and the second best Blue Jays catcher. And obviously, I don't think the way Tyler Heineman played this week or this weekend is like how he's going to play for the rest of the season. At the same time, just two of the worst defensive plays I've ever seen from a catcher on back-to-back days, like just coughing up runs left and right. Like just like he looks pretty unplayable at this point, like just based on those two plays alone. And like, yeah.
Yeah, if wins above replacement could count dramatic throwing errors in the worst possible spot to cost you a game, then Tyler Heineman would be up there. Pair that with his pitching performance, where he also gave up a ton of runs. Like you'd be looking at one of the lowest qualified hitters on the WAR leaderboard this year. I will say though, if you're a backup catcher, your job is plain simple. You're going to get in there once every 4 days, once every 5 days, and you need to just not be a talking point. Just set up quietly. Do your job, do what you need to do, and just do it quietly and not be a storyline. Well, right now, Tyler Heineman's a storyline. And that is a big problem for a guy who is your backup catcher, right? Got to do the little things well. You got to go into rundowns. And then if you're going to hit a little bit, that's fine, hit a little bit. But Tyler Heineman simply has not done that right now. And for a guy who is, your backup catcher, their last offensive player on the roster, that needs to be better as well. I will say, Owen, like, I really hope he doesn't get full-time playing time here. Like, even, he had the offensive outburst last year and he was a very good story in the first half. A lot of that was a heavy BABIP, and it wasn't really supported by all the stuff under the hood. So it's like, I'd want to give Brandon Valenzuela a go here and just let Tyler Heineman be that guy that comes in once a week and go from there. I don't want to see that his playing time increase that dramatically.
That's asking just so much of the kid in Valenzuela.
It is.
And this is a guy.
It is.
So he's not even a guy like you talk to scouts, and like the ones that are optimistic about him like aren't even sure if he's a starter. And like I don't want to like pour cold water on a hot story right now, because he's a good story. He's actually one of like the only positive things happening to the Jays right now. But like he's not like doesn't project as a big league starting catcher, and he's definitely not a big league starting catcher now. So that's asking just I think too much of him. And like you're right. I think the way you put it is like I hopefully for the next foreseeable future, until we get word on like does Alejandro Kirk need surgery, how long is he going to be out for? Like until then, like just please just don't be a story to our catchers. Like can we just like call the game, catch the balls and strikes, and hey maybe contribute with the bat a little bit. But it's just so frustrating because like the catcher position is a place where the Jays have excelled the last few years with Kirk, and it's a place where they're going to be missing him sorely.
Yeah, I agree. And we don't really know how long the injury is going to be. It could be 6 weeks, could be 8 weeks, could be 3 months. We don't really know yet. So hopefully for the sake of the Blue Jays, sooner rather than later. I will say on Brandon Valenzuela, switch hitter, which is nice. He could run into a home run or two. He's not a zero in the power department. His framing is fine, But it's the arm strength that is very good that I would like to see a little bit more from Valenzuela, because Tyler Heineman and Alejandro Kirk were allowing a lot of stolen bases against them. I think Kirk, at the time of his injury, had allowed more stolen bases than any other catcher in baseball. So this will at least help that a little bit, or at least should, going forward.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, it's if you're gonna get worse at most things, it's good to get better at one thing, I guess.
Yes. We're grasping at straws. We're trying to find some positives here. And that's when I was able to pull out.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. That's pretty much like that's all I've got on this team, man. Like they've just been terrible. I'm sick of watching what they're doing. I don't want to talk in circles, but like I have one more number on the offense as a whole that I didn't get to that like I think needs to be said. They have the 27th best hard hit percentage in baseball right now. One spot above Pittsburgh and one spot below the Washington Nationals. Like, if that doesn't sum up the way the season has gone so far, like, I don't know what does. Isn't that just awful?
Yes, I will say with the caveat, the Blue Jays haven't always been built on their hard hit rates. They were better in the second half last year because of those swing changes and swing adjustments that we were talking about earlier that they had made. They've kind of lost that identity this year. We talked most of those caveats, I believe, are George Springer, Addison Barger, Daulton Varsho, who are the guys that are supposed to be delivering your hard hit balls that simply haven't been delivering your hard hit balls. And even like Andres Jimenez, who has hit well so far, has never really been a guy who ropes the ball when he hits it. In fact, the one hitter on the Blue Jays who has actually had an increase in hard hit balls has been Miles Straw. And he's had 6 at-bats on the season? Not that much. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah. So I think that is a causation of the struggles that Varsho, Barger, Springer have had. And once those guys get going, that number will rise. But yeah, you don't love to see it at that point in the season.
Yeah, no, that's really, really bad. The other thing that the Jays did this week since last time we talked, Tyler Fitzgerald has been brought in, traded for cash considerations from the San Francisco Giants. Not a fake player. Tyler Fitzgerald's a real guy. Hit 15 homers a couple years ago. That's in San Francisco. A guy who maybe could contribute at some point. And after losing Leo Jimenez, and I think this is the important part, you rebuild that AAA infield depth a little bit. A guy we're probably going to see this season. Does he slide in ahead of Josh Kasevich on the depth chart? I don't know. What do you think, Jesse? But a real guy, and I think kind of an exciting pickup.
Yeah, I've always liked Tyler Fitzgerald. I was really buying that end of the 2024 season he had where he hit those 15 home runs in 90-some games. I think he stole 20 bags as well. Really good stuff there. It's just the strikeouts have gotten up a little high, which really capped his ceiling coming into this season. But he's versatile. We know the Blue Jays like the versatility. He's still not old. He's not quite 30 yet. He can hit the ball all around the field. 97th percentile sprint speed is good. We kind of need some more speed in the system, especially if he's going to come up and join on the bench. So I like that from Tyler Fitzgerald. Do not think this blocks Josh Kasevich one bit. The Blue Jays were very high on Josh Kasevich. And if Tyler Fitzgerald is getting in the way of that, there's a problem. And I don't think that's the case. So I think it's just added depth, added insurance, and we'll likely see Fitzgerald on the bench at some point this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I'd be actually kind of excited to see if he can bring anything. And yeah, that sprint speed with he's flash power. That's a pretty exciting profile for a guy. And if you can find a way to keep his strikeouts down, maybe a real contributor at some point. I'm not gonna plant my flag on Tyler Fitzgerald saving the Blue Jays at this point, but I want to get your opinion. What is saving the Blue Jays? Because we've got Dodgers and Twins this week. We're not going to get to talk after the Dodgers series. It doesn't sound like. So what do you need to see this week for a better week? I don't even care about the wins, but what's the formula? What's the process?
Well, I also would love to see some wins for what it's worth, but that would very much come in handy. But I do want to see the Blue Jays get back to what made them so good in the second half of last year. Find that identity again. Do the little things well. Hit the cutoff, man. Don't make outs on the bases when you're running in the bases here. Throw to the right bases. Make sure you swing at pitches you can swing at. Stop chasing the ball so much. Swing hard. Work your walks. Do all that. Play the more team game. The reason why you guys got here in the first place. Find that. And I need to see signs that is happening in order for this Blue Jays team to really know that, okay, we can get back there. The pitching needs to be the same. The bullpen needs to be the same. I'm confident that will all be there. But it's specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Find that magic again. And I don't know how that's going to happen. But if we start to see those signs, no matter what the wins and losses say for this Dodger series, then I'm going to leave optimistic.
Okay. Are they getting swept by the Dodgers this week?
I don't think so. I actually think we're going to take 2 out of 3 because baseball is stupid. And, we lose to the bad teams. We'll probably find a way to win 2 out of 3 here against the Dodgers.
Hey, if there's one thing that baseball is, it's stupid. And I think you watch baseball for as long as you and I have, you kind of get to know that. So I love the optimism. Unfortunately, I'm going to make the easy bet and say Jays get swept this week by the Dodgers. What are my pitching matchups I've got here? Scherzer versus Justin Robleski on Monday night. It's going to be Kevin Gausman versus Yamamoto. What's that, round 3 of that matchup? I think Yamamoto's up 2-0, so poor Kevin Gausman there. And then we've got my last one is Dylan Cease versus Shohei. So, hey, they've got some fun pitching matchups in that series at the very least. It'll be fun, a little World Series matchup. Unfortunately, Jay's running into a buzzsaw. They're already looking like they're wood chips. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know. I'm not optimistic. It sounds like you are. But do you have any other predictions for this week?
Yeah, Max Scherzer, revenge game against the Dodgers. That sounds like a win for the Blue Jays. We're due to beat Yamamoto. We'll get that storyline out of the way. We'll do that. And then who knows? Dylan Cease throws a gem against the Dodgers. Maybe we sweep them. I don't know. I'm blindly optimistic here. But yeah, 2 out of 3, I think, is the real thing. And I would love to see some World Series like revenge in a way, like Ernie Clement finally gets that home run that, he couldn't deliver through on that last game or whatnot. And we start to see some progress there. And the storylines will start to flip heading into a weekend series against Minnesota.
So do you think this means anything in the context of 2025? Because I don't know. They're different teams. Like, obviously, Kyle Tucker's on this Dodgers team, and Bo Bichette's gone, and Dylan Cease is here now, and Okamoto's here. Like, do you see like this adding to the story of the 2025 season at all? Because I don't know if I do.
Yeah, I don't either. Actually, I thought it was kind of not dumb, but kind of odd when they were lining up the Blue Jays pitching staff and they were like, we got to make sure we line up Scherzer, Gausman, and Cease for that Dodgers series. Because when it's you play them 3 games out of 162, they're not even in your league. How they fare isn't really going to matter. And even if the Blue Jays do sweep them here, the Dodgers got rings on their fingers. The Blue Jays don't. So no one's going to remember this 3-game series after all is said and done. They're just going to remember the Dodgers beating them in the World Series. So I think that's kind of dumb. It's a nice storyline. So Blue Jays fans can remember that World Series run if you needed another reminder of what it was like to go back there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of where I stand on it too. I think, Jesse, you have the perfect mindset for a baseball fan, something that I wish I possessed, because your ability to stay optimistic and be so excited going into this Dodgers series is just something I'm really jealous of, to be honest, because, oh my God, I've never been more negative about a baseball team in my life, except since September of 2025, probably, or when the Jays were down 2-0 to the Mariners. Yeah, anyways.
I'm an optimist at heart, but I will say, Owen, I feel those feelings when things are not going well. I said a lot of angry words on my television today when watching the Blue Jays pop up consistently and not make good hits against White Sox pitching. So I'm not immune to that. But at the end of the day, nothing really matters in life. And baseball is just a great distraction, not to get too dark here. So let's just enjoy it while we can.
Yeah, man. Well, Jesse, I have to thank you so much for bringing your positivity to today's episode. I've been Owen Hill, joined by Jesse Burrell, as always. I just want to say thank you to everybody who enjoyed this J Center podcast. I hope you're feeling a little bit better about the team than you were when you started listening to it. I hope this therapy session, I hope this felt better and is contributing to a little bit of happiness in all of our fans' lives. Remember, if you enjoyed this, please like it, subscribe, give us 5 stars. Check out me and Jesse on Twitter. Join the conversation however you can. Jesse, you got anything else for me, or are we ready to wrap this up?
I think we're all right. I don't know if we'll be back to recap the series on Wednesday. Life gets in the way sometimes, but we will try to do something maybe as things go on there. I do want to say happy Easter to everybody listening. Owen's recording this from his parents' house, so a nice little look. For those of you watching on YouTube, you get to see that. That is very nice. And enjoy the holidays, and let's hope for a better, more optimistic Blue Jays week ahead than we just had.
All right, Jesse, thank you so much. We will talk soon.
Cheers.